Okay, here's a wee short video of a jig I made up for the swinging arm part of a set of girders. I'm doing a Harley Davidson frame this now, and the chap bought a set of girders, and the original swinging arm is too narrow. To give you an idea just how wide extra it has to be, that's for the front wheel that's going on it. And I made this wee jig. What I've used initially is a surface plate, which I know you shouldn't really drill into, but I have. Made up these wee posts here, turned them out in the lathe. There's 8 of them in total, and I've basically used the standard inch seamless tubing for all the fittings and also for the arm itself. The whole thing was constructed using these wee V-blocks so that everything was level with the surface table, which is a very heavy cast iron section. You can see all the webbing that's underneath it. Very solid, very heavy, and therefore won't want to stop while things are getting welded. And these will just bolt onto the original arms. Just lift them, maybe give it a bit of, that's just a wee bracket again to help keep it in line. Welded along the tops. It will then be taken out and put in reverse, spun around, so that I can weld the undersides without having to take it out of the jig for any of the welding at all. So that should keep the distortion down to a minimum. Still to turn out the bushes and that for this as well. I'm using nylon as opposed to these phosphor bronze ones. It's a good alternative. Here's just another shot. I've taken the swinging arms out. As you can see, they're still welded underneath there. I did that when it was spun round the other way. And what I've done is I've taken it out and I've spun it round, and it allows me to weld the top, or the underneath as it used to be, sections without actually having to weld anything outside the jig. And it also shows you just how accurate everything is if I can actually take this out and spin it around and it still all lines up with the pins, because there's virtually no tolerance in it. You chap these in with a rubber mallet and back out. And these sections of angle iron as well, make sure that the angle stays right. And we've just got this wee top clamp that goes on, and that's really there just to stop them popping back up again, or to leaving them. Probably not as important having it on when it's already been welded to the underside, but doesn't interfere with the angle I can get into the individual sections here that actually go to make up one of these arms. This is the original arm. This section here has got to be widened so that you can fit the standard Harley Sportster front wheel in between them. These arms are mitered with a nice tight fit. This is one that I've did earlier here. I've got another video that I've actually taken first, so I'll add that on after this one. And just wanted to show you these. These are a couple of sleeves that I made up that fit over the tube, nice tight fit. You can see I'm just sliding out there. And they allow me to keep the mitre on it the same for every one. And once I've got it to this basic shape, I just take a file to it as I'm fitting it in so it's all nice and snug. But it speeds the process up and it keeps them all a constant. And you can see there, it's just a nice tight fit. It's quite hard to shove up, and I centralise them using that black line there. I made these out of 1mm sheet plate. I first made a cardboard template of the first one that I'd done, and they just slip over the tube and allow me to actually mark up where the mitre's going to be.
I'll take you through this next series of photographs. The first one we're about to see is the surface table drilled and the posts are made fitted. This gives me the distance apart of the arms. I then turn up some spindles for the tubes so that they hold them nice and tight, good tight tolerance here on these. I then join up the individual sections with the machined middle section turned to the length I need it, and sit these in V blocks, and then using lots of small tacks to cause as little distortion as possible, tack the individual clamps on the end. And you'll see here a photograph just showing you I put the tool into the tubes as I was turning their length and put a wee mark on them. This shows you the bottom of the girders. I had to drill these out to the 3/4 of an inch front spindle. I think it was 5/8 that came in. Here I also had to turn down the actual centre rubber in the front shock absorber, which is the standard back Harley one, and make a wee spacer up for it. And this is the nylon bushes that I turned for the girders. These, as I said earlier on, these are replacing the phosphor bronze ones. There you'll see one of them fitted. There was ones without the wee top part fitting. They went in the arm you see to your furthest right. And this is them sitting back in with the shock in place and the bottom mounts tacked in place as well now. I sat it up on a stand I've got at the height that the steering head would roughly be in the bike, and at the same angle, just to make sure everything was looking right. Onto the brake. First of all, I put the spindle through, made a new spindle, and marked up roughly the fittings with a cardboard template. Took some more positive or exact measurements and transferred these onto a piece of steel. I then drilled these out before I actually started cutting them, in case anything didn't fit and I could make another one without too much work being done. Once that was all done, you'll probably notice that you've got a thin gap along where the curve section between the two bolts are, so that it doesn't foul the caliper itself. This is a wee brake arm I made up. The only mounting point that we could use in the girders was the ones for the mudguard, so I had to drill that out slightly as well to take a larger bolt, and that's it basically sitting on the girders. Okay, back to the video.